Grace from Mensa Mats. So I talk a little bit about cancer patients in my last video. Personal story. My dad actually died from cancer, gallbladder cancer, when I was in sophomore year in China. It's a very aggressive type of cancer. There's pretty much zero survival rate. The moment he got diagnosed, the doctor told my mom that he has 1 month to live. There's no way he can survive this. Like, there's no fighting chance. They're not even like gonna offer, say, chemo or anything like that. They actually put him on kind of salt water solution to kind of give him a mental thing, like we're treating you, but they're just really waiting him to die. And my dad used last of several weeks of his life doing much of nothing. I briefly wrote him my email about this. He decided not to live his best life, and that's his life in general. He's not a person fight for himself and fight for his families. Without going into more details, so I mentioned a little bit. So in China, like you know, in US, the kind of equivalent, like you have a will or estate planning thing. So my dad didn't have any of those, right? In China, I guess not very common unless you're super rich or something. But I mean, you do have a house, certain properties, and so there are several things my mom was telling him, hey, you need to get this taken care of when you're still conscious in your mind, when you still can do those. And he pretty much refused. You know, I was young, I guess, in a sense, and I wasn't very involved because my mom basically wanted me to say, you focus on your school, you don't want to bother you too much about your dad's illness. So my mom, I guess at the time, definitely went through a lot. And I wrote in my email, what happened is afterwards, me and my mom jumped through hoops, loops, right? And then humiliation by people that literally lack of empathy, and try to deal with some legal paperwork for the things that could have been taken care of by him when he's still alive and conscious. And he decided not to do that. It's a choice. And here's the thing, because he's a adult, we can't force him to do that. So he decided, fuck you all, right? I'm dying, so stop asking me to do this thing. So for me, he's selfish. He's not very considerate. And in fact, that's kind of my whole life grow up. I guess that's kind of me looking at my dad. That's who he is. I don't talk about my dad a lot because he died early in my life, and not that early, not that I'm young, like taller or anything like that, but his death ultimately gave me a chance. I actually came to US and pursue my new career and my business. So I think ultimately it's like a good thing, right? And my memory of him actually very vague. Of my near 20 years of life knowing him, I actually did not have much memory about him. My therapist actually told me more than likely I have this deep thing emotionally that subconsciously block out that part of my brain that I don't want to remember about him. But recently I'm writing a lot of death and decisions, so this come up a lot. So one thing I wrote in my email is that you don't actually take responsibilities when you die. You know, it's an easy way out. People really, I know this is gonna trigger people, but it's an easy way out to just basically like, I'm done. I don't want to think about it anymore. I'm done. And then when the people you loved and loved you are the one having to take care of the things and suffer. And for me, it happened to more than emotional suffer, but really to deal with the physical things, like try to get paperwork done. We have to go through the whole town. You understand, in China there's no private cars. Like, we have to take buses and go to a place really far and try to get stuff done. Either like, and every place is like DMV, right? Like, the people are rude and don't get stuff done. So I know it's a personal experience, so that's why I'm saying, like, when you have ill disease, you don't have a choice. Yeah, you got it, that sucks, but doesn't mean you don't have a choice to take care of your family. Doesn't mean you don't have a choice to fight for another day. Doesn't mean you don't have a choice to live a better life, do the best you can for the rest of your days. And that being said, video is getting long. Make sure to go to my website, mensa-mas.com, and download your free report.